Hello everyone, I am Coolguy, and today we're revisiting the Tex Mechanica shotgun, the Chaperone, for a review to see where it stands in year 3. Shotguns are in a really good spot right now, and with this review, it's important to show the raw gameplay of it, show its true potential, and hold nothing back. Now we're going to go over the core of the weapon, its perks, applications, and finish up the review with some builds of other weapons you can pair the Chaperone with, as well as some subclasses with armor to become more deadly. The Chaperone is obtained through the Jolly Holiday questline. Now there's a link in the description to Planet Destiny's website showing these steps in depth as needed. Now a quick overview of the questline requires you to 1. Get kills with the last word in the Crucible, and the last word kills aren't necessarily the only way to gain progress. The last word can just be equipped, meaning grenades, melees, and supers can count. And number 2 is to pay a generous donation of 15,000 Glimmer to Amanda Holiday. Number 3 is with a shotgun. Kill Majors in PvE or kill Guardians in the Crucible. Majors are going to give you 6% towards completion, and Crucible shotgun kills will net 3%, and the final step of the quest is to complete a special Shield Brothers strike. The base stats of the weapon for this archetype are top tier. It has a rate of fire of 35 and an impact of 40. It has the highest rate of fire possible. Only when full auto is added on weapons like Invective or Fourth Horseman or other legendaries it can become faster. Now it has the highest base range of any shotgun in the game. The range sits at 26. But keeping in mind there are no mid-tier perks like Reinforced Barrel or Hammer Forge to make that any higher, but there is a Chaperone perk that will extend that effective range. It also has the highest base stability of any shotgun in the game. It has an average reload of 29. The mag holds 5, an aim assist of 70, equip speed of 50, and a recoil direction stat of 30. First, let's start off with the intrinsic namesake perk, the Chaperone. This weapon fires a precision slug, grants bonus agility, and we're going to revisit this part later on in the review. For barrel options, we have linear compensator, accurized ballistics, and field choke. Now these have been changed. We're going to turn to the weapon balance 2.0 patch a little bit in this review. Field choke used to be one of the better options in the game. It granted slightly bit more range, and all of these used to grant a 5% damage bonus and now have been cut in half to 2.5%. The changes kind of kept them in line with one another. So with field choke, they reduced the damage by 50%, reduced range bonus by 60%, and reduced the stability penalty by 20%. Accurized, they reduced the range and damage by 50%, and linear, they reduced the damage bonus by 50%. So aim assist values were also effective, and I used to go with field choke, now I go with linear compensator, but none of them are a bad option. The recoil direction for each one is controllable, and they don't really differ from one another. They all drift slightly upwards and then to the left. First up, Roadborn. Precision kills briefly grant bonus handling, range, and precision damage with this weapon. Roadborn is the most important perk on the Chaperone, and we're going to talk about it a lot in this review. It's what makes the Chaperone's wheels turn, and it takes a serviceable shotgun in the first place into one that's capable of amazing things. So precision kills grant bonus handling, which is your raise, lower, and aim down sights time. You get bonus range and bonus precision damage. And what the perk also does is it grants a higher rate of fire. Which is good, and we're going to dive deep into its application later on in the review. So the keywords in the Roadborn description are precision kills grant Roadborn. So once a headshot is granted by either a primary, heavy weapon, or the Chaperone itself, the Roadborn timer will be active on the screen. The buff is active for 9 seconds. This weapon revolves around getting a headshot. Middle tree, single point sling, switch weapons faster and move quickly while aiming. Snapshot, aiming this weapon is incredibly fast, and then Field Scout, increased carried ammo capacity. Now there's a clear winner here, and that is Field Scout. Both of the other perks, Single Point Sling and Snapshot, you can gain with Roadborn. But a case can be made for how these perks can help the weapon without Roadborn to get it active, but however you want to spin it, the extra ammo wins. For like in PvP, if you spawn in with the Single Point Sling or Snapshot equipped, you get 7 total rounds. And when picking up ammo without any ammo granting bonuses, you get 4 rounds. And you can get 5 by adding a shotgun or special ammo armor piece, but you can just bypass all that and not have to worry because Field Scout alone will grant you 14 starting ammo and will pick up 5 per special box. You need to go with Field Scout pretty much every single time. Then the final perk, Survivor. 3 rapid precision kills with Roadborn active will return 2 rounds to the magazine. The Survivor perk is very underwhelming, and this is also going to be the PvE review portion of the Chaperone as it kind of ties all together. Survivor is more tuned towards PvE. You get 3 rapid and precision kills, and now those are precision kills, not hits, so you get 2 of them back. Long story short, unless you want to methodically take out a group of Thrall or Dregs, this perk along with the Chaperone is not good at all. Now, that same group of Thrall or Dregs, you can just mow them down with a Thunderlord, or a Gallarhorn or Truth, or even a simple perk like Firefly. Next, let's move on to PvP, keeping track of all the changes. The Chaperone has had its ups and downs. Back in 2.0, this weapon got changed. They reduced the base range, and they increased the precision damage scalar from 1.1 times to 1.75 times. That change was telling players you have to go for headshots, and PvP itself is where the Chaperone shines. I do believe that it does have a place in the current state of the game. There's no questioning that shotguns are running the show, specifically the Matador 64. And I have some really nice Matadors. All of them have range perks, aggressive ballistics. One has crowd and performance, the other has range and performance. It's really good. And a couple others I use for PvE. But in PvP, the Matador has a pretty consistent 7 meter kill range, can drop in the 8 meter, and the very rare 9 meter kill range. And differences in armor play into that, and differences in perks as well. But even though it did get a nerf back in 2.0, it also got a buff in the most recent update. In 2.4, they gave a 2% damage bonus to the high rate of fire shotguns, and the Chaperone falls in that. In PvP, it does 131 to the body and 228 to the head, far different from the original Chaperone doing 183 to the body. Now, it can keep that 131 body damage up to 8 meters, and the precision headshot is also good from 8 meters. An important note, since it does fire one slug, it is very accurate from the hip, but keep in mind, since you are firing from the hip, you are getting decreased damage, so aiming down sights is what you want to do, but keeping your mobility is there if you want to fire from the hip. It has up to a 10 meter kill distance with Roadborn active, and that's a pretty good distance. It has a fairly consistent 9 meter kill, and has a very consistent 8 meter kill, and again, armor plays into all that. Now, the 10 meter range, like I said, is a good distance, especially in the current state of the game. Now, is that 10 meter distance achievable? Yes. Landing some of those shots with the Chaperone are some of the most rewarding you can get in Destiny, and I've been doing it throughout this entire review, so you guys can see some of the distances that you can get kills with. But with Roadborn active, it gets very interesting. Remember, increased handling, rate of fire, range, and precision damage. So here are some tips for PvP, tips for use, situations, weapons, and armor that it pairs well with. So we have those 14 rounds that you start off with, and you pick up 5 with every brick. You have a decent shotgun without Roadborn, but with Roadborn, you can be a terror to the enemy team. It has one of the longest kill distances in the game for a shotgun, and with that caveat being, you have to land precision headshots. But what is nice is that large reserve of ammo. We're going to go back to that. You can spare some shots every now and then, even though you should be going for headshots. When push comes to shove, you can spam body shots, like in situations where it's a 1v1 situation, like in elimination. Say someone's running at you with a shotgun. The majority of the time, you're going to have enough ammo that you can decide just to hammer them down in the body, and don't feel bad for that. It's encouraged if need be. But when someone is rushing at you, you have to make the choice. There's a choice there. You can go body-body, you can go body melee, or you can try to land the death blow headshot. You have a lot of options with a Chaperone. And any weapon can be used with a Chaperone, and since Roadborn is active on headshots, an Outlaw Reactive Reload primary is ideal. You've been seeing a couple primary weapons throughout this review. Those are the old Vendor Finales Peril from the Iron Banner, and the Mida Archetypes Angel's Advocate, and you can go pick that one up right now for 150 marks from the Vanguard Quartermaster. Both have Outlaw Reactive Reload, so let's break this down and what happens in a closed environment, then its application in-game. When you get a headshot, you get a very fast reload due to Outlaw. Buffs and timers go up on the screen. You have an Outlaw timer of 3 seconds, reactive reload pops up for 3 seconds, but also Roadborn is active for 9 in the background. So after that first headshot, you have a lot of options with this kind of weapon synergy. Number 1, you're searching for the 2-shot headshot with the Peril, or you're searching for the 3-shot headshot with the Mida Angel's Advocate. Number 2, when the reactive reload timer runs out and that possibility is gone, you still have 5 seconds with Roadborn. And with that 5 seconds, you could choose to be either offensive or defensive with the Chaperone. Or 3, you can just get the perk active and just rush around with the Chaperone. But these are the types of situations that you can get into with the opportunities and the decisions you can make. So having the buff in your back pocket and activated is the key to the weapon. The extra precision damage is very good, and as we discussed earlier, you get the faster rate of fire. And with that faster rate of fire, because you get the range, you get the precision damage, you can challenge roaming supers if it's favorable to you.
You've shown your might, Guardian.
Next, we have some subclass builds with armor. First up is the Titan, and number 1, you can never go wrong with the no backup plan Defender. You have a lot of ammo, and that means you can have the potential to keep Force Barrier active for a good amount of the time. It's really good defense inside and around your bubble, and you can even get a little crazy with things like weapons of light. The second one is the Dune Marchers, and a lot of players have been pairing the Mida with them. It's a very fast class, but remember the Chaperone grants bonus agility as well. So pairing increased sprint speed, increased movement speed when you're aiming down sights, and the faster turn radius when sprinting makes them a great pair for the Chaperone. With the Warlock, the Ophidian Aspects, and it's just a great all-around neutral exotic. It helps with not having Roadborn active. And number 2 are the Claws of Ahamkara, and it's not a very popular selection, and you aren't going to make too many friends doing this, but they're a great match. You have a pretty insane body shot distance, and you pair that with a pretty insane melee distance, it just works. Then we have the Hunter, a pair of neutral boots, the Bones of Ao for number 1, and a lot of players use that regularly already, so it's not a bad option for the Chaperone. And the second are the Frosties. You get a tighter turn radius when sprinting, and while sprinting, you get a cooldown decrease to your melee and your grenade charges. Really good for the Night Stalker, really good for a max agility fleet-footed Blade Dancer. But those Frosties and Dune Marchers, having that tight turn radius when sprinting, if you pair that with the Memory of Yolder for no sprint cooldown, it's a very fun way to play, and they are the perfect pairing for these boots, and I highly recommend running them together. In conclusion, the Chaperone does have a place and is very deadly with practice and a skilled hand to use it, but this weapon isn't for everyone, and it's also a matter of perspective. The downside of the Chaperone is what the weapon asks of you, so you must be precise with it. You have to actively look for headshots, and that just might not be for everyone. But this weapon, just like any other weapon in Destiny, the more you practice with it, the better you can become with it, the more efficient you are with it. And what I like about the Chaperone is that it has one of the highest ceilings in Destiny, and what I mean by that, it's a very base level shotgun, but with its strengths and capabilities of range, rate of fire, starting ammo of 14, handling, it goes from being one of the majority to one of the best. Also note that in light level activities like Trials and Iron Banner, you're going to be doing more damage to those lower level opponents. Let me know what you guys think of the Chaperone. If you haven't used it in a while, give it a spin, you might just like it. I do believe with practice and a skilled hand, it's one of the best shotguns in the game, no question. Thank you guys for stopping by. I really hope you enjoyed the review, and a positive rating is always appreciated. And until the next one, I am Coolguy.